I'm feeling so light, hearing the angelic sounds of our ancestors singing through the night for the supernova body. Listen to the realms of beyond, sacred wisdom healing my mind. Chakras align when I listen to supernova day. It's more than a podcast, it's a whole vibe. Expanding consciousness as you shift your mind. Tune into the supernova body so you can raise your vibration. Don't be afraid to make changes and create a new you. It's more than a podcast, it's a whole vibe. Expanding consciousness as you shift your mind. Supernova body, a cosmic party. New way of life, it's a supernova body.
Hello and welcome to episode 17. You've been with me for season 2, 17 episodes, or maybe this is your first episode and you're just tuning in. Whatever the case, thank you so much for being here. I am your host, Simone Michelle, and this is Supernova Body Podcast. And today we are talking about learning to release control over situations and circumstances that you cannot change or prevent. Oh, yes. Disclaimer, we are talking about some heavy stuff, but not in a heavy manner. But we will touch on some heavy stuff that you may not be in the mood for. So if you know yourself and you know that today ain't the day for that, come back later or don't at all. It's okay. Do what works best for you. But with that disclaimer, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, okay? Cool, and cool. So why would you need to adopt this mindset? Last episode, we went over sexual assault. And so that is the main reason for learning to adopt this process, because situations like sexual assault can result in you feel like you have no sense of control, right? And that can lead to needing to control every aspect of your life, right? Or needing to be in control of every situation, needing to be able to control every single possible thing that happens to you or anyone around you, needing to have the final say, have the only say. And that is not always healthy, right? Or helpful. But again, healthiness is subjective. But if it's not working for you, if it's making you anxious, if it's making you overly critical, if it's making you fearful, unable to sleep, no sense of peace or a deep sense of unrest, it is possible that a humble surrenderance is needed. Not to give value or praise to the circumstances that created the need to create control, but to definitely assert that you are able to move forward, right? In a healthy way. Cool. So learning to release control and finding peace in the uncontrollable, the illusion of control, because thinking that you have control is a joke. Okay? You don't have control over much but yourself. Anything outside of that sphere, you are only deluding yourself. Okay? And not to say that in a way that's hurtful, but we only can control ourselves. We are only in control of ourselves. Everything else is merely an illusion. Okay? You do not have control over other people, places, or things. You may be in a position of authority, but that doesn't mean that you have control. Okay? Our innate desire for control. We are hardwired to do this. We are hardwired to do this for the purpose of safety, predictability, which also makes us feel safe, and a sense of mastery. It literally is a survival instinct, and we are programmed to want to have control. When it becomes problematic is when the desire extends to circumstances or things or places or situations that are definitely outside of our area of influence, like other people's actions, other people's business and personalities, other people's decisions and choices, global events, community or cultural experiences, how people present themselves in situations that are oppositional to how you would, the future, because unless you're trying to do some, never mind, the future, natural disasters and unexpected illnesses, we do not have control over these things in the way that is typically presented. We could definitely do things to try and mitigate or uh, um, minimize the effects of these things, but we don't have the ability to prevent their existence from happening. The cost of holding on to control can, like I mentioned earlier, be increased anxiety, stress, frustration, anger, exhaustion, resentment, burnout, a feeling of powerlessness, and it hinders peace and forward movement. Why would this matter? Why would we need to have a healthy concept of control? Why would we ever need to be in a situation or be in a situation where we had a need to release control? What if the most egregious thing happened to someone that you love, right? What if something happened that was outside of your realm of control, whether you tried or just couldn't? Situation for my own life where I had to learn to release control was when my children, my baby childs, my little people were in an environment while I was at work, going through a divorce from their father, um, that caused them great harm, right? And I lost my mind momentarily because of my own experience. And I never wanted these situations to happen to my baby children, right? Um, I never wanted them to be in this situation. And I was hyper vigilant and definitely a helicopter mom because I didn't want this to happen. And some could say, law of attraction, you thought about it too much, brought it onto yourself, whatever. It's never helpful to say that. don't say that specifically in situations like this. Just shut up, don't say it. Yeah. What? Yeah. Um, it doesn't matter sometimes how hypervigilant you can be, life can still happen. And when we try to have control in situations that involve other people, we'll never be successful. There are always going to be situations that are outside of our control. And we can do our best as humanly possible and use every single tool in our arsenal to make sure that our children are safe and that they're in a safe space. And in a split second, okay, in a moment of absolute chaos or whatever is happening in your life, your realm of control, your whatever, everything can change. And your children can be in situations and experience things that no child should ever experience. And their lives can be changed, right? Your life can be changed. And this is when needing to learn to release control can be a beneficial tool to your life for your own sanity. And I'm speaking from experience. right? I try not to speak on anything that I am not well versed in, whether it be because of my own lived experience or extensive research and understanding in it. Everything that I speak about on this podcast are things that I am very in depth and immersed with, whether for good reasons or curiosity, okay? But I try my best to always seek someone that's an expert in whatever field I'm speaking on. So if I am not that expert, then I'm going to elicit the expertise of someone else, right? In this particular situation, um, it is just imperative that we learn how to be okay when we're not okay, and understand that the people responsible for incidents are the people responsible for incidents, and we can only control what we can. Everything else, it is beyond us. Okay. All right. Um, the cost of holding on um, can sometimes also result in a feeling of powerlessness, right? It hinders our peace and forward movement. Our life can literally stop and be at a standstill. We don't know how or what to do next. We're just stuck, right? We don't know how to forgive ourselves, other people, people to where to place blame. Um, excuse me, how to relieve or release the shame or guilt. Our life can be stuck there. And we have to learn to identify what is truly uncontrollable and what is, and that's in the circle of control or the circle of concern. The circle of control is things you directly influence: your actions, reactions, efforts, choices, attitudes, and boundaries. Those are the things that are in direct reference to you as a person. You can control how you respond. You can control your reactions. You can control what you say, your choices, your attitude to things, your boundaries, your core values. Those are all within your realm of influence and control. Um, Things you can indirectly affect, but cannot control are your persuasions, your preparation for things, and your boundaries. Those are things that you can definitely influence. They still are connected to you, right? And you may not be able to control every aspect of communication, like how someone receives what you say. You can't control that, but you can definitely control what you say and how you say it. And it's up to the receiver of that information to choose how they're going to receive it. But it's still within your circle of control because you can put it out. You're still making the choice to communicate that, or your circle of influence, right? And then your circle of concern is everything else. Like everything else: the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, uh, post events, past events, um, future outcomes, illnesses, natural disasters, things going on in the news, politics, America as a whole, culture as a whole, other Black people as a whole, right? Those are all maybe your circle of concern. You may be concerned about these things. They may have a direct influence to your emotions or energy, depending on how locked in or tapped in you are, but you don't control that, right? You're just concerned about these things. You have no way to create change instantly within these spaces. Maybe over time through advocacy and influence and political advancements, but right now, today, you may not be able to have um, much influence on that thing. Okay, so one thing to also keep in mind is that acceptance of a situation is not approval of a situation, right? So while I will never approve of anything that has happened to my children in the care of someone else, that I expressly did not want to happen, I cannot um, do anything but accept that it is, right? To do anything other than that is to live in a state of delusion, where I'm not accepting that this is the reality, right? And that can be hard to do, right? To accept and have a sense of understanding for things that you just don't understand. Like, there is no logical explanation for this. I do not get it. I do not like it, but I can accept it. I can accept that this is what it is, and now life is going to look a little different. So be it, right? Um, Radical acceptance is something from delectable behavioral therapy, DBT, and it is to fully and completely accept something without judgment or resistance. It is a powerful tool for emotional regulation. It's basically telling yourself that, yeah, this is not bad or good. It just is. Like, it is. Like, it is, and it's going to be whatever I make it. It is. So accepting that it is accepting that it is. And I can make this ugly situation or I can make it beautiful. I can add some sugar to them lemons and make some lemonade and make it as sweet as I want it to be. Um, but that's up to me. It's up to me how I create it and how I move forward. And that level of acceptance and what it looks like, it can change, right? It can be, you could be in a stage where everything is ugly and everything is just horrible, and that is what your reality is in that moment, and that is what you're accepting about the situation. And then you can get to a point where, okay, all right, I'm done being angry, I'm done being hateful. Now things can start to get better. And every day in every way they start getting better and better. That's still acceptance. All right. And so AA, which also has different branches, like Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous is also an extension of Alcoholics Anonymous. There are different anonymous groups, and one of the basis of AA is the Serenity Prayer, which is done as often as needed. And it really can be so helpful. Going to AA is not just about your normal addictions, right? Typically, people don't talk about being a sex and love addict in the way that is socially acceptable, right? It's not just having sex with everybody. I mean, it can be. And sometimes that's the way that you're aware, but it could be you just fall in love with people extremely fast, right? And jump into situations and relationships and do things before you're really emotionally prepared or ready. But I said that to say that the serenity prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I love that AA has no spiritual um, focus or pressure. It is your God. So if your God is the God of the Bible, the God of the Quran, the God of Bhagavad Gita, the God of SpongeBob SquarePants underwater experiences, there is no pressure to mold yourself to a certain religion or idea or set. And when you pray the serenity prayer, it is yours and yours alone, so that you are connecting with your God and your higher self, higher power, whatever your divine is. And it allows you to release, safely release and surrender up to a higher power and be like, hey man, yo, I I can't change this. and I need help because I don't have the courage to change the things that I can right now. So help me out, please. Please help me please. And it's helpful to apply whether you want to just go to an AA meeting because they're literally applicable to anything you're going through in life, or um just quietly do it with yourself every day, all day long, until you get to a place where you really are releasing and surrendering to a higher power. Um, yeah, you can also um, adopt different uh, techniques for releasing the grip of control, which is mindfulness and presence, which can look like grounding and anchoring yourself in the present moment, um, to be okay with a past, be okay with what has already happened, be okay with what life will never be okay with what life definitely is, be okay with the plan that you set out for your life that may not be exact anymore. I've used this in relation to sexual assault, but it could be in relation to a job. Okay, it doesn't have to be that deep. but it could be in relation to a career, your identity of self, a failed marriage, and your identity changing from being a wife to an ex-wife. Whatever the situation, circumstance, it is releasing resentment or regret or disappointment over things that didn't go the way that you designed in your mind that they should, and realizing that you still have a path forward. You still have a method that you can use in order to make it to the next phase of your life. And it doesn't have to look like what you thought, but you're leaving it up to your higher power to create a better experience than you ever thought could be possible, right? Um, yeah. So we can also learn to adopt the technique of observing without judgment. So again, you're noticing your thoughts, you're noticing your feelings, and you're not placing this is wrong or this is right. It just is what it is. That can look like, okay, a thought popped into your mind. This situation happened. It was outside of my control. I'm not going to place judgment on anyone. I'm not going to place judgment on myself. I'm just going to sit with the thought. And then the thought's gone. And we're releasing the emotions and whatever it brought up for us. And we're not placing judgment on ourselves. We're not blaming ourselves. We're not blaming anyone else. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And a book just popped in my mind, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because that's the title. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a really good book. And I would recommend that to someone that is struggling with control, releasing control. Also, Transitions is a really, really good book, and I can't think of the author right now, but it is an amazing book, and I think it's a wife and husband duo that did it. Another really good book is Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Again, the author has slipped my mind, but these are all things that you can easily Google. And yeah, and I'll probably remember them and put them in another episode when I recall. Okay. Um, so adopt the constant shifts of moving to your circle of control. Like subtly, gently remind yourself that, is this my business? Okay, no, it's not my business because I have no control over this. And just saying, release. This ain't mine. This ain't mine to hold, because what can I do about this? You're only in control of you. Everything else, you just have to just release it, right? We don't have any ability. We can't control the people who we have children with. We cannot control how they think, what they do, what they should do, what they should not do. Can't control it. Just no. So just stop trying. just stop expecting you from anybody, and just be who you are and allow everyone else to be who they are. And when you recognize that someone is showing you that they may not value you, bye. Or okay, distance. Okay, I'm going to put you in your proper position in my life and demote you from the position that you had before. You can only control you. You can only control how you manage your response to things. A wonderful practice of yoga is, or actually, I would say Buddhism, is learning detachment. Not the sense to say you detach from responsibilities or people that you have to take care of or interact with, but you learn to emotionally distance yourself, and learn to observe circumstances without letting them wreak havoc over your life or your emotions, right? Where you recognize this person, they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to have a lot of audacity. Okay, they've got it on sale and they've got an abundance of it, and they're going to keep having that audacity for the rest of their days. So as soon as you learn how to control your reaction to them and stop giving them power, I remember I used this vase. Yes, this vase. You see kind of, oh, the bubbles, the bumpiness of it. Imagine that these are all holes, right? And you are losing energy through all of these holes if you don't plug them up. So somebody gets a response or reaction out of you, um, and your energy is leaking now. You are in control of plugging that hole, so plug it up. Save that energy for you and creating and growing versus being stuck in the experience of them, right? um, Practice cultivating trust in yourself, in your ability to make good decisions, even if your decisions weren't always great. Um, Brick by brick, you can build your boundaries back up. Brick by brick, you can rebuild your life. You don't have to stay in the mistakes that you've made. You don't have to live in that space um, of discomfort. You don't have to live in a place or space where you did not do what you thought you should have, or you did not trust your God given intuition. You did not trust um, the small, gentle inklings. Forgive yourself for that. Make peace with that. Offer yourself grace and begin to trust yourself again, right? Begin to trust life again. Begin to trust your higher power, God, divine, universe, your higher self, whomever is leading and authoring your life. Begin to trust in your resiliency, in the process of life, in the process of spiritual surrender, because that the process of surrender and lifting your hands can be one of overwhelm and massive awakening. I remember watching I think it's what was it called? Um I forget if it was the story of Jesus on just remembering things. Um it was the story of Jesus. They put it on Netflix, but it was on the Angel Network before. And when I tell you it was good, oh, it was good, okay? I don't care if you don't believe in Jesus, it was good, okay? The actors, the way that they really got into the Bible, if you are like an avid reader, if you really like study for real, they really took the strong concordance and made it lively, okay? But it just was very accurate, and it really went into the backstory of scripture. So if you are a Bible nerd and just love really seeing the scripture like come to life in a way that aligns with context and just really deep research, it might tickle your fancy if you haven't already seen it. But um shout out to James, because I think my friend James put me onto that, and we were like watching that series together, and it was really, really good. Um, but there was not a but, and there was a scene in there where, whew, Mary Magdalene. Okay, it was when I was still in a space of tenderness regarding my experiences in my adolescence and childhood, and there was a scene where she had to surrender a circumstance, an experience that had literally made her lose her mind. And in the process of surrender, in my prayer time with God, I could not lift my hands, okay? I could not give it to him. I was holding it tight. I was like, I can't trust you with this, God. I don't trust that you could do this. I don't trust it. Just, I don't think you can handle this. No, you don't know what to do with it. I had to be in control, right? And it's still a tug of war, like with higher self, with God, with universe, my higher divine. It is sometimes definitely still a tug of war with releasing and surrendering. But when I lifted my hands, okay, when I recite that serenity prayer, okay, it is me literally lifting my hands and saying, so be it, God. So be it. You're in control. Whether you are aware of God consciousness, whether you are on a different plane, it is literally surrendering yourself and saying, I don't know what's best, but I trust that you do. So show me how good life can get. Show me how amazing life can get. Okay? Because I didn't see how bad it can be. So show me how good life can get. Amaze me because you are in control here. And I don't know what's best even for me at this level. So show me how good life can get. And just watch. Just watch. So one thing to learn to remove from your vocabulary is why is this happening to me? Why? Why is this happening? Why has this happened? And change that to what can I learn from this? Like, what is the lesson? Okay. Is the lesson not to trust people who I, in my gut, feel like I shouldn't trust? Or is the lesson that I am the best option for my children? Like, is the lesson that my boundaries are really important and I need to make sure that I honor them? Or is the lesson that I need to establish core values? There is a lesson. And when we focus on that, we're making forward advancement, right? We're no longer stuck in the moment, in the experience, or in the circumstance. We're moving forward, right? Sometimes it could be very difficult and we can lean into coping mechanisms that may not necessarily be healthy for our lives. Like, yeah, I'm just going to drink because I need to numb it and I can't deal with it right now. Yeah, I'm just going to smoke because at least I'm high. I'm just going to psychedelics my brain away because I'm going to let the mushrooms do the talking and the walking and the work and the reconstruction of my brain because I cannot process. Sometimes rage rooms are a valid outlet, finding healthy outlets, whether that's talk therapy, whether that is Reiki, whether that is massage therapy, whether it's some form of healing, whether that's church for you, whether that's prayer for you, whatever it is for you. If that fluctuates, if it's yoga, if it's somatic release, if it is just sitting in the space and journaling about it and getting it out of your brain and your mind, if it is some form of neural stimulation, whatever, whatever. Realize that you have a choice, regardless of what has been taken from you at the hands of others. You have a choice of how you are going to live your life, and that is reclaiming the only control that you truly have access over. And that is more than enough to have the life that you desire, the life that you deserve, and the life that no one can affect because it's yours and it's within your realm of control and it belongs to you. Okay, you and you alone. Embrace imperfection and uncertainty because life is messy and it's unpredictable. Let me tell you, if there is anyone that has really tried hard, very, very hard to set up safe parameters, overly safe parameters of what life should look like and be, and failed every step of the way. Let me tell you, life is unpredictable, okay? And what you can do to really create the life that you want is deal with it. Deal with what comes your way and choose to deal with it because that's all that's in the realm of your control. And again, we minding our business because that's our business. Okay? All right. And eventually you will have freedom. I think I mentioned before that one of my family names is Freeman because freedom is everything to me, especially as a Libra. I like freedom. I'm an air sign. I want to flow. I appreciate birds because of how they flow, right? In the freeness of it all. Although peacocks, they don't fly. They coast. So they free in the wind. Okay. Freedom is everything. So reducing stress and anxiety, having mental clarity and more energy, realizing your own resilience and adaptability to the changes of life. Because listen, building a tolerance for stress does not mean stress decreases. It means you learn how to deal with what is undeal withable. Okay? You learn how to manage situations that can be unfair and unjust. Because listen, life is that. Whether you have an amazing life or not, it's based on your choices and decisions with situations that were not okay, right? They cut you off in traffic. You chose not to curse and move on about your business because that's a them problem. And all you can control is you and your reaction. And now you moved on and still had a good day because that didn't ruin it. Okay? It's how you choose to deal with situations that come your way, whether they're fair or not. You got this for real. I know you do. I'm telling you, you do. Having a deeper sense of inner peace and contentment, and the ability to focus your energy where it truly matters and where you really, really want it at the end of the day. Because, I I don't want to, give my energy to nobody that did me wrong. Okay, I don't want you to have any part of me once I have decided that you've got to get out my life. Okay, so if there's a way for me to make sure that you're not getting anything else from me, it is to control what I can control, and that is what I give my attention and energy to. Okay, if you no longer have access to me in my life, you ain't gonna get the negative part either. Because people, when I say people thrive off of people thrive off of your reactions to their foolishness. Okay, oh, I still got it, she still care, or he's still tripping, I still know how to push his buttons, he still care about me a little bit. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, call it pride, whatever you want to call it. This is my sphere of control, and you won't get access to that. Okay, if you can't be in my life and get my energy for free next to me, you ain't going to get it off of me being pissed off. All right, you can't have it. You can't have it in any form. Access denied. Cut off, no more. So yes. Now, is this process easy? Is this process enjoyable? Is this process a walk in the park? Absolutely not. Even in my big old age right now, I still have moments where surrender is difficult for me. Even in my however many years in the process of healing, do I still have moments where it's like, look, now, listen, enough is enough. Don't you give me not another situation for character development. Don't you give me not another situation out of my control. Okay? I've had enough. Enough. My capacity is capacitating, and I am where I want to be developmentally wise. Nothing else, please. Absolutely, I have those days, and I have a safe group of people who I can vent to about that. And I recommend that you get a safe group of people that you can vent to about it, because, like I said, this is not a linear, perfect experience, and we are not perfect people. How in the ever, and both and there is hope for you to regain access to the control that is within your power, right? And to be gently reminded that, baby, this ain't your business. This is nothing that you can change. All you can do is change you. All you can do is change how you respond to these situations. And these situations can stop affecting you in that way. Bit by bit, brick by brick, you can build a way where you handle life differently, where control is no longer the bane of your existence. I know it's possible. And this is coming from somebody that I tried to control some things that was outside of my business, and just could not. And I understand what I can control, and that is my response to people, places, things, situations, and circumstances, and how I allow those things to affect me, because that is where the true power lies, not in nobody else. And I will say this. No, I won't say that. We're going to leave that alone because that's a whole topic for another day. But I thank you. I thank you so much for being here. I thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule and day to listen. wherever you are, at whatever time, doing whatever you're doing, looking how you looking. I appreciate you taking time out to be here. I'm very grateful and thankful, and I loved you. And bye.